Hello, you lovely creatures of the river mountain. All animals elsewhere, they're fortunate to be able to hear this broadcast. And then to the humans seeking, thirsting for quintessential knowledge, for an alternative path than the path of misery they're on. And this particular production episode that we're doing here with this epistle is going to nail a lot of it. We're still with the city of evil, city of Babylon, where it's going to have its hour of pure torment and pleasure, whatever that wants to do. It has free reign for 60 minutes. And right after that hour, not a minute more, is judgment. And the world is going to panic. Whoa, whoa, that great city Babylon, that strong city, because in 1 hour is thy judgment come. That's what John's being told here. This other heavenly voice. And this voice continues to explain it's the merchants. The merchants of terror are going to weep significantly. They're going to mourn vehemently because of what's going to happen to their merchandise. No man will be able to buy merchandise anymore. Let me give you an example, an American example, since I can pick on this nation that I'm a citizen of, and well-versed citizen, mind you, who's been through all realms of this just system here. All right, the Elohim goes to the point where he calls the merchants of terror princes. What a fabulous compliment, because he knows these merchants can do so much good for mankind. They bring mankind together. Merchants do this. They did this before religion did this. So merchants have a very special place in our Lord's heart. Representative, a leader from I believe it was China, where there's a lot of oppression, significant, an iron rule by a family of just greed. Mainly, every citizen that's versed with this scheme of life knows what's going on in China. Merchants know this. Most merchants deal with China because of what the unions did, getting the government involved and having rates, minimum wage, which is so ridiculous. No government should mandate anything man does with his own hands. Monopoly, sure, I can understand that. But wages? You're an inventor, but now you gotta succumb to what the government calls a wage, a minimum wage. Yeah, it's just so. That's why America just keeps shooting itself in the foot. And you don't have to work. The union argument was, they're downtrodden us. You don't have to work there. You can go elsewhere. It's just so pathetic. But not to say that unions have done all bad. No, they've done amazing good things. But I am telling you where it has evolved to. That's why merchants go elsewhere to make a product that can be sold to you for as economically feasible as possible. And the other end is the merchants want to get wealthy for it. Most of them, 98%. Very few have ulterior motives. I know that because I was one of them, hence look what I did here with Shepherd Corps. Anyways, this leader from China, comes to this San Francisco, I believe it was. And I'll never forget the standing ovation of these merchants. So I bring it to what John's talking about, the city of Babylon. This new place. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's China. Maybe I don't know where the Babylon is. But the merchants are going to rely on her and have been relying on her if it's already begun, which again I don't know. Just 1,000 years. Um, but once it's cut off, but once our Lord steps in, say, you merchants are foolish. You've been so blind and sucked on the filth of her glands, and it's gone too far. That's when judgment comes. And then it brings us to where I'm talking about now. This connection, this applause, this false prostration to give homage to a leader. That if you flip the leader on the other side, you see nothing but egregious behavior. So when John said, then when this heavenly voice tells John the merchandise no more will be able to trade, because he writes this specifically. This voice tells John merchandise of the following will come to a halt. Merchandise of gold, merchandise of silver, precious stones, and of pearl, fine linen, and purple. Isn't it interesting how he identifies purple, which is majestic in a lot of thrones around this world? Purple, silk, scarlet, all thine wood, and all vessels of precious stone, brass, and iron, and marble, and vessels of cinnamon, and vessels of odors, and vessels of anointment, and frankincense, and any vessels of wine, and oil, and flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, chariots, vehicles, slaves, and employees, souls of men. This voice is then blood. After listing, what is it? 27 earthly items, except for the souls of men. But though they are attached to earthly things, this is why they're listed here, because the souls of men, as I keep explaining, decide to follow the temporal life, the 80 years of life, versus looking at something like infinity and grasping that, putting that to more importance. So this heavenly voice, after listing these items, tells them all your desires were temporal, humanly desires here on earth, which has been fed off Babylon. And what Babylon was offering man through all of this merchandise is going to come crashing to a blinding, screeching halt. Those who have been around someone who's addicted to a particular medication, like an opiate, for example, then they go through withdrawal. Withdrawal can be very, very horrendous. You'll have doctors or physicians explain, well, it's passable. No. Unless you've been through withdrawal, I have personally. It's a psychological, physical, and mental movement that you have to gather all your resources together. And if you're prepared for withdrawal, when I go into withdrawal, most of the time I am. I want to see where my body pain is at. But if you're not, you will search, you'll look, you'll steal, I didn't do this, but I'm just letting you know this is what goes on just to satisfy that. So now all the merchandise is suddenly cut off. City of Babylon is is burnt. This empire which has been providing everything of the desires of our soul is departed. The fat, the goodly things are suddenly perished from you, removed from you. You'll find them no more. The merchants which were made so rich shall stand far off from this Babylon for fear of her torments and the weeping and the mourning, and they'll exult, woe, woe, that great city which was clothed with silk and purple and scarlet and was gilded with gold, precious stones, and pearls. Never mind these items. It's what the items are signifying. What man is doing or going to be doing to the city of Babylon, to Babylon. Bringing their people there to work, bringing their ideas there to be rooted there. Bringing their finances, the wealth, everything is building the city of Babylon. It's not just going to pop up overnight. It is built by the desires of man. How fortuitous for you to, if you're wise enough, you can see this actually happening today. His voice continues. In 1 hour are so great riches made desolate. Every governor, everyone that sails into the lake, every shipman, everyone that works in the sea, stood afar off and cried, seemed a place of our burning, saying, what other is like to this great city? They threw dust on their heads. They cried, weeping, mourning, woe, woe, that great city which all were made rich, that had ships in the sea of her prices, because in 1 hour she's desolate. One strong angel, John explains, took up, as it were, like this great millstone. You see storm drains, how they're circular. Well, imagine that, only completely round and made of stone, millstone. So this mighty angel, excuse me, picks up what looks like a millstone and he tosses it like a frisbee, magnificently into the sea, violently. This angel says, you know, with this violence that you now saw, shall Babylon, that great city, be thrown, just like I threw it into the sea. And it will be found no more. And when Elohim sinks something, like a particular city, and those who are with us going through the Old Testament, you're going to learn that. You're going to learn what happens. If he doesn't want it to be found, you will not find it. Seems clear John doesn't mean any one particular city, but as per Jeremy, the universal company of the reprobate that's going to perish on this day of judgment. But I'm more inclined to believe that there is going to be one particular nation or city. That's my belief. It's going to be rooted because I firmly believe man is going to be the one seeding it. But again, this is just where I'm at with it. The old prophets also naming thee, whose number of God's enemies mystically is called Babylon. The voice of the harpers, the musicians, and of them that sang on the trumpet, they're not going to be heard anymore. This angel's explaining. Every artificer of every art shall be found no more. Anything related to the city of Babylon, music, art, museums, zoos, everything attached to it, rooted to it, which way man is so feasible, so viable, is going to be gone. No more noises from the mills. Lights at night, gone. And this is where he says, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall no more be heard in thee, because thy merchants were the princes of the earth. See, I told you, a special heart in Elohim for you merchants. Look what you're doing to yourselves. He continues, because all nations, did you hear me? Because all nations, again, America is not the saving grace, is not the Graceland, is not the New Jerusalem. All nations, folks, children, please ignore the foolishness and listen to facts. Because all nations have erred in thine enchantments. Every single nation on this planet is going to be attached to Babylon. Who knows? It may be North America that may be the Babylon. I don't know. He ends by telling John, in her is found the blood of the prophets and saints, all that were slain in the earth. And this goes against the evil clergy. They're hooked by wealth, by this devil, by this garbage. You're getting away with it now. You're sitting high on your little throne. You're keeping people back. You're disavowing good, superb people who love God and love His church and want to give everything, but you say no because you're not with our mentality. Your day is coming. I hate to laugh, but shape up. There is an opportunity. As he reflected with the 10 kings, the 10 diamonds, who are part of the burning. Not all princes. 10 of you are going to say, yeah, something's wrong here. We screwed up. Always some goodness with the bad, huh? Stay with us. We just finished this incredible book. So we're going to begin the 19th when next we meet. Until then, listen to this. Read this chapter. Re-listen to it. It's so inundated with knowledge. And I just touched it.